Hey friends, Ernie here from Trader of Futures. Today I'm going to talk about blockchain and what it is and why you should care. So first of all, why should you listen to me? I mean, what the hell do I know about blockchain and cryptography? So let me put it out there just briefly. I spent the majority of my professional life in technology. I'm a former chief architect in a Fortune 50 company, and I've been analyzing, designing, building, and deploying secure systems for some of the biggest companies in the world. So let's just say that I have a working knowledge of the topic. Plus, I'm kind of a geek. I love technology, and I know when a technology is disruptive. And what I mean by that is cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and an assortment of related technologies. I believe that they're going to change the world. In the next 20 years, the world is going to be a very, very different thing because of these things. In the same manner, or even radically different than when the internet came into our lives in the early 1990s. In fact, Bitcoin and other blockchain technologies are pretty much at the same state of evolution as the internet was back in 1992. Now, I don't know if you remember those early days when Netscape browser came out and you were using all these weird tools to look at Russian websites. That's what I remember of it, anyways. And it's true that in terms of technology, in terms of infrastructure and deployment, and in terms of adoption, that's just about where we are. But in terms of hype, it kind of feels a little bit later, just before the technology bubble burst, when investors would throw money at virtually any project, no matter how inane, with the hopes of striking it rich. And a lot of people did. So why do I say blockchain is disruptive? I mean, what is it all about? Why should you care? I mean, how can you get involved enough to stay ahead of the curve and become enlightened to what's coming down the path? There are a lot of questions. And the answers, unfortunately, are kind of long and ongoing. And I'm not going to answer them all here today. But there's one thing that's making it all of this possible. One thing that is the driving force of behind of what will be here very, very, very soon. And not only a technological shift, but this is going to be kind of a cultural revolution. So Bitcoin and Ethereum and smart contracts, I mean, those are all just instances of what's really behind it all. They're all centered around money. But the implication of the technology goes way, way beyond money. However, it's got to start with money because that's where all these evolutionary things start. They need to be funded. They need to reach some sort of critical mass, or what I call operational density, before they can really take off. So money has to be at the core. Now, at the core of these technologies is a concept, a singular and very important concept, the concept of trust. Everything about this technology, this revolution, revolves around one thing, and that's trust. Actually, you'll see that it's actually the lack of trust. So the real power of Bitcoin and blockchain technologies is the ability to do transactions, to exchange money, to exchange value in a kind of decentralized way, meaning you don't need the friggin' banker or the middleman. You can exchange value directly with anyone without having to trust anyone. I don't know if you're really grasping this. It took me a little while to really get this, but this means that you don't need anyone else. You can verify independently without the need of a third party or any party to intervene. You can do a transaction or sell something or buy something all by yourself, and you can validate the transaction as being proper and good, meaning that you ain't getting screwed. It's a way to trust everyone without having to trust anyone. So, you, my friend, you've achieved the ultimate in freedom and privacy and protection from bad people by adopting this type of technology. You can have complete control over your assets, how you manage them, where you get them, where you send them, all securely and with complete confidence that it's going to get there. So how does this work? Well, put simply, the software that you use with the blockchain technologies assumes everyone else is lying. They're all out to get you, believe it or not. Uh, you can't trust the miners, you don't trust the people who create transactions, and you don't trust the people you do transactions with. You don't trust anything other than the outcome of your own personal verification and validation of your own personal transaction. And with that, you end up trusting something way more of critical importance, and that is the network. That is what is actually providing this kind of distrust and providing real trust. It's the thousands and millions of other people who don't trust anything either. Bitcoin and blockchain have done something here of critical importance when it comes to security, where before it was like kind of concentric circles. Everything needed to go through one central guardian, the bank, the server, the credit card company. So the new security model kind of flips all this inside out. Now, the trust comes from the masses, a kind of market-based security model. So security is no longer centralized, but shared among everyone. Now, when you do a transaction, everyone verifies it because their transaction validity is dependent and linked to your transaction being completed successfully. So it's kind of like a mutually assured transaction dependence. We'll call this guy in a bit. So this is, in all reality, it's a trustless system. And this is the disruptive technology. This open system that ironically enforces trust between every person is the essence of what makes the blockchain technology a revolutionary technology. So what do I mean by it's an open technology? And this is a little geeky, but Bitcoin, blockchain, smart contracts, they're all developed in an environment called open source software. And those are projects where anyone can contribute to them, anyone can examine the code, and that's the platform that all of these technologies are made from. So there's really no chance of some kind of like secret backdoor or malicious code that can get introduced into your system. So open source, that's a key concept, or this sort of openness. And here's something that banks and governments hate. The technology is borderless. There are no boundaries that can limit your peer-to-peer connection. Although China might try to cut off the development, they can't stop the proliferation unless they simply shut down their entire internet, which could happen, but I doubt it. The other thing is that the platform is neutral. There's no central governing body. It's just you against the world. And as such, everyone else is in the same basket with not one person or group of persons that's able to obtain control. And the way the system is designed, it's simply not possible for anybody to obtain control outside of that. And this means that there's no person or organization that can censor or blacklist or disrupt or restrict or deny your access to that network. Right? So that's huge. So that's what Bitcoin and blockchain really are. They are open, decentralized systems of trust that don't depend on outside institutions to work. And you know what? You want to really know what's really key about that? This scares the hell out of the banksters and the government and the military-industrial complex. They can't control you with this technology in your possession. So it will become way more than just a transfer of value. It's a means to seize control of your identity and independence. And the applications with that are limitless. Now, I've been curating a lot of information about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and blockchain, and I've created a site where I'm putting all that stuff, and I encourage you to go there. And I've tried to pick some of the best pieces of information out there on the internet, the things that are easiest to understand. And the site is right below here. It's called juntocoin.com, and I encourage you to go look at it. But thank you very much for watching this. I really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you next video.